Okay, if we can start with the most obvious question of all, I suppose, which is what or who is NinjaOne? Please tell us more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us on, Phil. So NinjaOne is automated endpoint management provided for IT teams to be able to automate the things that take up a lot of their time, a lot of the routine tasks. It's really about building in more efficiency, being able to manage endpoints in regards to making them more secure, including patching, and also rolling out proactive monitoring and maintenance. And so in the MSP world, obviously it's an RMM, which I think every team probably has, right? And we're one of the options that's out there, and happy to talk a little bit more about what we're doing and how we approach things and how we work with MSPs.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to next question was going to be asked, how does Ninja, your product, your portfolio help MSPs and IT teams? T Tell us how it all works.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ninja has been around for a while now, I believe, since founding in 2016, if I'm correct there. I've been with Ninja since 2018, the end of it, so about a little over 6 years now. And when I joined, NinjaOne was Ninja RMM. We were offering strictly RMM. And since then, we've grown into a platform with different tools that are working closely together, right? So in addition to the RMM, we also have NinjaOne backup. We also have documentation and some basic ticketing as well. And then the newest release that happened earlier last year, I have to get used to this is 2025, was MDM. And so the through line there is trying to provide MSPs with everything their teams need to operate to really help with visibility for their endpoints. Again, that proactive monitoring and maintenance, and having that be true really across the board, whether we're talking about PCs, servers, or mobile devices. And so that's really what we're offering. And I think one distinction that's a little bit different. We see this across the space, right? There's a lot of consolidation. I'm sure a lot of folks are kind of sick of hearing the one dashboard, right? The single pane of glass. But our approach to it is more of building versus buying. Ninja has been very mindful about what types of products and features we roll out, and a huge part of that is with involvement from the community, getting feedback from the customers. That's my role at NinjaOne. Actually, is I'm director of community, so that's been a huge part. Our product management team is constantly listening to the community and working with them for that. And so being mindful about what features and products we're devoting resources into and building those, and so they're not stitched together after the fact, that they're able to work together a little bit more cohesively.
Okay, and in terms of the relationship you have with your MSPs, as you mentioned that that there are alternatives. So, but what is it?
Sure.
What's unique about NinjaOne's relationship with MSPs? Why do you think you've got an advantage there?
Absolutely. So, I mean, at this point, yeah, I think that the in terms of an RMM in particular, and PSA for that matter too, a lot of folks might say that this is it's pretty mature, right? Everyone knows what the primary offerings are. Some people might say that that's even commodified. And our approach to that has been, well, we're trying to operate a little bit more closely in terms of what needs to be put out there. And again, that goes back to talking with the customers and what features we're focusing on. Our CEO Sal Sferlaza, the way he thinks about it is there's going to be parts of an RMM or any of these core software tools where the work is never done. Patching is a good example of that, right? Microsoft is constantly making changes that require some shifting on our part in terms of making patching work. Not to mention third-party software, where we're talking about hundreds of software companies, right? Apple, Linux, all these things. And so we're constantly developing or putting in resources to make sure that we stay up to date there and that we're ahead of the curve, that we're innovating to where, and I think Sal refers to it as these things are kind of building on sand. We have to constantly be adjusting those things. And then at the same time, there's other products, kind of like, well, we just issued warranty tracking. And that's helping MSPs automate tracking of warranties and being able to act on those things. And for that, we saw that as more of, this is where we can make a value add here. So we're not charging for that. That's a free add-on. And that's something where we can see, okay, Ninja can solve this problem. We can provide that as a free value add, and then we can continue dumping resources into to these bigger issues, these bigger problems that we're trying to solve. I want to add one more point about really that feedback loop that we've developed with the community and with MSPs, our customers. A lot of our product managers actually come from the MSP world. So we have folks that we saw who were active community voices. They've joined Ninja, and now they're helping us build the tooling that they wish they had. And so again, just really stressing, our customers know what they want. They're in there day after day. These are things that, as a company, when you're early on, when you're a startup, you're constantly seeking out the feedback, right? You're trying to get product market fit. You're trying to talk to as many customers as possible. And we've really held on to that and made that a core part of Ninja's identity.
Okay, and then perhaps drilling down a little more specifically, it'd be good to understand
Sure.
how the RMM solution that you have helps or supports MSPs. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the big, I guess, idea behind it is, there are tons of repetitive tasks that MSP. When we're talking about MSPs, your biggest cost is really your team's time, right? And so, do you want to have your team spending their time doing the routine things like password resets and clearing disk space and all these other activities that could be automated? And I think that's really the value proposition, not just for NinjaOne's RMM, but any RMM. So we've really kind of saying, like, what can we do after we hit the basics? What are the increasingly complex workflows that we can help MSPs automate? Again, with that idea, that big value prop that your team can have their time taken up not by those manual repetitive tasks, but more meaningful things. So you can help differentiate your own services from that of competitors. You're not just the break fix crew. You actually know your client's business. You're able to help them in more meaningful ways because you're able to spend your time in these more complex, not just the routine stuff. And I've got like a couple examples from our latest release. We just released NinjaOne 7.0, and that went into general release earlier this month. And one of the things there, everyone talks about AI, and everyone asks us all the time, what are you doing in AI? You must be doing something. And the answer is yes, we are. But we decided pretty early on in the AI discussion, once that became clear that this was, we're really just in such a amazing period of transformation there, that we weren't going to rush things, and we weren't going to just tack on AI, use it as a buzzword or a marketing word, right? We wanted to be a little bit more meaningful and think through, be a little bit more thoughtful about what are the AI use cases that can actually provide practical value now. And one example of that is we just released Patch Intelligence that's powered by AI. And what that does is it provides, it basically combs through sources all over the internet, and it lists what those sources are. It's not a black box. You can actually see where it's pulling information, and it will give you context on patches. And so you're able to go through and you can see, oh, here's one that has an alert. This is actually, there's been notifications that this patch is causing some issues around certain types of devices. And then you can dive deeper in there. And so we're using AI in that way of, it's great at consolidating information and being able to provide that. And so the humans, the MSPs, technicians can actually make more informed decisions. Here's a patch that's been flagged. I can dig in and see exactly where this information is coming from. Maybe I'm going to hold off on rolling this out until they get that issue resolved.
Okay, and if that's the sort of latest technology that you've been in, you've introduced, the MDM solution, I think was you released that back in again, we're talking last year, summer last year, and just be good to understand a little bit about that in terms of how it helps MSPs better manage and secure customer devices. That'd be good.
Absolutely. So, I don't think I need to say this at all. I mean, the job for the audience out there, it's getting more and more complex all the time. I mean, as with many things with the pandemic, I mean, it wasn't really introduced, but everything was accelerated, right? The work from home, work from anywhere, hybrid environments. That also was in hand with then what a device looks like, what an endpoint is, right? And so when you're talking about endpoint management, it's not really, can you really say that if you're not helping to manage Android and iOS as well? And so that became clear that that was going to be a key need. And so we spent time into, again, kind of deciding is this something that we can buy and tack on? We always prefer to build. And that way we're able to more tightly integrate. And so what we're excited about with our MDM solution is it provides people, again, with that single pane of glass, you're able to not have to go to a separate portal. You can manage your clients' devices and manage them more holistically. You're managing your clients, whether they have their laptops, or their iPhones, their Android devices. You can manage that all in one place, and those devices are becoming just as important as desktops and laptops. Absolutely.
Okay, and maybe just in finishing, we are obviously at the start of a brand new year, lots to look forward to, and maybe a couple of things. Well, just your thoughts, I suppose, as to NinjaOne, how you see the company developing over the next 12 months, whether there's any sort of new solutions on the roadmap, if it's doing more of the same, doing it better, whatever. Just any thoughts you can share as to what we can expect from yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely, Philip. So, very excited about the year. We have a lot coming on the roadmap. It's funny whenever we do release new separate products. We do have a portion of our client base who are like, okay, that's great, but what about that thing I've been asking for a while? And so it is always a balance where we do have those areas. We have things like with warranty tracking where we see this as an adjacent tool that can provide some immediate value to our customers. Can we provide more of those things out there at low cost or for free? And at the same time, the work is never done. And so there's a lot that we were excited about around patching and in particular, and some things that are adjacent to patching that I can't quite say right now, but that are viewing that kind of role of what's the bigger task, the bigger job to be done is really gaining better insight into not all patches are created equal, not all patches are as urgent as others. How do we provide our customers with more context there so they're able to make more informed, better informed, and more efficient decisions? And so those are a couple of the things that we're thinking about. We're constantly looking at other areas that we can move into that's going to help MSPs differentiate themselves and also provide better services.
Okay, I mean, it's been lovely to chat and some great information as to what's going on at NinjaOne. So, Jonathan, really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
I appreciate it as well. Thank you so much, Philip.